What's up, guys? So to preface this video, I wanted to start off by saying, if you haven't already, go submit your car for the next Reviewing Your Cars live stream. We'll be doing that tomorrow night when you guys are seeing this video on the 23rd at 9 p.m. So be sure to come check that out. Myself, Hayden, and hopefully Michael, aka Kindlestone here on YouTube, will be in on it as well. So be sure to go check it out. I think it's just going to be a fantastic time, and we enjoy doing these. So be sure to submit your car to my Instagram. I'll put it on screen here now. And you guys can submit your cars. We ask that you send in a mod list with it, and as many pictures as you can. Obviously I don't want to spam my inbox with tons of pictures, but as many different angles as you can, because we want to get a very good idea of what the car has going on with it. And yeah, I hope you all enjoy this video, and we'll see you guys tomorrow night on the live stream. So what's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Everyone's having a great day today. So it's a really nice day out today. It's supposed to rain all week next week, which means there'll probably be a abundance of sit downs next week. So be prepared for that. But I thought today's video we'd do something really cool, and that is talk about the must-have mods for any sport track owner. And I'm gonna split things up a little bit here. I'm going to talk about convenience things that make quality of life better for everyone, and for the enthusiasts, and I'm going to split up the other side, which is the enthusiast in the world out there. People like me who buy these trucks and don't just build them, or don't do small quality of life improvements to drive it every day, but to make it kind of as best as you want it to be. So let's get started right away with one of my first things that I think as a quality of life improvement. And that is going to be a upgraded radio. Now, my truck in particular has a Sony XAV AX100 in it, which is a Apple CarPlay compatible radio and Android Auto and all that good stuff. I'm not like a crazy audiophile or anything, but I do love having, an upgraded radio head unit. My truck, when I first got it, had the factory XLS head unit in it. Literally, this truck was completely unmolested when I got it, and it works for the most part. I mean, the audio sound, I noticed a slight improvement in quality when I got this head unit. I didn't have aux, I didn't have any features really. Half the preset buttons didn't work, and the volume controls were busted on it. It tended to have a mind of its own. It turned itself down more than it did turn itself up. The thing was just awful. So I had a Sony MEX N5100 BT before the XAV, which was great. I think it's a really good entry-level radio. It has Bluetooth and aux, which is as well as USB charging. It now is in Hayden's Ranger, and he's gotten lots of good use out of it, which makes me always happy to see. I like doing that with him because we both have similar chassis trucks. So most of the time, if I have something that's quality of life improvements that I want to pass down to him when I upgrade, then I do that, and that's exactly what I did. So if I ever did switch out the radio again, he would get my XAV. So I bet he's probably watching this right now like, please upgrade your radio so I can get that. But the reason I say this is a must-have is because you get better sound, you get better quality of life, you get aux, you get Bluetooth, and some radios, mine does not have Bluetooth. You get Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which explain themselves enough. You get navigation out of that. That's good. You get really nice, features like being able to hands-free text, hands-free call, all that stuff, which a lot of Bluetooth radios already have that feature built in, but CarPlay just makes it a little bit easier. You can use Spotify in there a lot easier. You can actually see better what songs are coming up. I know a lot of singletons do this as well, but it's just better quality than having a singleton. You have a lot more control than you would over a standard radio, especially over the stock. You have a lot more features and a lot more capabilities that the stock radio does not provide. So pretty much, if you have the stock radio, you get a cassette deck and the XLT and up, and you get a CD tray, and that's all you get. You don't get aux on these trucks base model, unless you have a Gen 2. I think Gen 2's had aux stock. The next thing I would say is headlights. Now my truck, you can go two ways around this. You can either get as best the halogens as you can, or go LED, or you can go retrofit like I did. The reason I did retrofit is because, in my opinion, if you want to run LEDs the right way, do a retrofit. You can run LEDs on reflector housings. I'm not going to stop you. It's not my thing personally, because it does what's called light scattering, which is a huge thing. And if you've ever been blinded by a car with reflector housings with LEDs, that's why. They're not running with their high beams on. The light is scattering because it's not meant to go in a reflector housing. And sure, there are some bulbs out there that are sold for reflector housings, but not a lot of people know that. They'll just buy standard LED bulbs that you would find in a retrofit or a projector setup, and then just blind the absolute crap out of you, even though they can see amazingly, but it blinds everyone else. And that's why I always say retrofits are the way to go, because you're being the most respectful to the people around you when you're driving, as well as getting the best possible lighting you can get with a projector lens. Sure, some people might think it looks dorky on a truck this old, but I believe retrofitting is the way to go. It is a lot more costly, but I'm telling you, first-hand experience, it changes things, even though one of mine is actually kind of broken right now. That's because the bulb's bad, which is just my fault for buying a $30 headlight set. And that's it for the convenience mods. So I've always said, you know, my main convenience things, I've always been headlights, radio, and center console, actually, which I'm going to get into now, because I forgot to mention that, so it's not it. If you have a short box truck like I did, mine is an XLS trim, so I had the kind of infamous zipper bag for a center console. It can't hold much of anything more than the owner's manual. The cup holders suck, and I mean, it's like literally right to here at the front of the seat, which you guys can't really see that well from here. And there's two ways you can go about that. You can do like I did, where I got a 95 to 01 Explorer console. This can also be intertwined with the other Sport Trac consoles. So it's always, you know, if you want to keep complete originality in your Sport Trac, you can always go and get like a Sport Trac console, like a long console. There are so many of these things that are wrecked. It's really easy to find parts off of other trucks for them, because these were, you know, mass-produced vehicles. Or, Monday 86 covered this recently, you can do the 02 to 05 console. Apparently that bolts in. That was actually new information that I learned straight through this video. You will have to do like a little piece of ABS plastic to kind of make sure everything fits flush, but you can do that, and I think it's actually a better console, and I feel like if I had known that ahead of time before I did my swap, I probably would have done the same thing. So, you know, great video by him. If you guys haven't already, go check out Monday 86 in his channel. That's it for convenience mods. Good center console swap, good headlights, and a good radio is just the things I think that every single person driving a Sport Trac should do. I mean, it's just a quality of life improvement, because let's be honest, these trucks don't really have a lot to offer in modern day, in the modern era. Sure, back in 2003, 2004, 2005, and you know, all the years these trucks were produced, they were great. They were really well equipped for the time, but nowadays they aren't equipped as well. So now we're going to get into what I like to call the enthusiast section, things where people who like these trucks and mod them like I do, you know, this is where they shine. This is like the things that I think people should do. And one thing you're not going to hear is seats. Now, my truck has bucket seats in them for like a track car, and I'm not going to say that because most people aren't going to be wanting to put race car seats in a truck. I just did it because I like race car seats and like how they look, and I wanted to sit in one, so I bought some. But some people aren't going to want to do that, and that's, you know, normal. But let's talk about what I think are some must-haves. And first off, I'm going to start off with exhaust. Now, lots of people look over exhaust setups on most cars, especially stuff like this, which is, again, a more commonly daily driver vehicle than it is a enthusiast platform. But I think exhaust change everything on a car. This truck right now, I've gone over it thousands of times. It's a set of DNA short tube headers, a MagnaFlow X pipe. The original Y pipe was actually modded to be down pipes. As well as a set of MagnaFlow race mufflers on the back, and it sounds quite good. I'm not going to do any sort of exhaust clips for this video because a certain neighbor walked outside just a minute ago that threatened to call the cops on me, and I'd rather not have that issue. So I'm going to gloss over the exhaust even existing just by telling you what it is, and you guys can go check out some of the other videos where I show off the exhaust more in depth. I've done a review on that and all that stuff. But exhaust, I think, is just the way to go. It's like a first mod for any enthusiast on a car. Sure, some people are going to like the stock exhaust on these because it's literally silent. You can barely even tell the car's on. And some people might like that. I'm not one for quiet, so I like my cars being kind of noisy and having some character, and that's why I went with an exhaust on this truck. I think that's like the big thing for an enthusiast to have is an exhaust setup on their car. It really is like the sign of an enthusiast is to have an exhaust on the car, whether it be loud, quiet, or kind of in the middle. The next thing I'm going to recommend is pretty much everything that I said in the the one thing that is cool about the enthusiast section is anything that I said before for quality of life can go here too. The next thing I'm going to say is suspension setups. Now these trucks are most are like 95% one way and like 5% the other, and I'm one of that 5%. Now, a good lowering or lifting setup for those of you who like to off-road or just prefer the look of it, I guess, is a good way to change it up. These trucks are a little rough on the factory side. My truck rode like absolute crap when I got it. And when I did the suspension work on this thing, when I put the low ring shocks as well as the block kit and everything on this thing, it smoothed everything out. Ironically enough, everyone says that when you lower a truck the way I did, it just like makes it so undrivable. But it did the exact opposite. I actually have a lot more fun driving this now than I did before, because I can actually sit here for long-term trips, minus the fact that I don't have working AC right now, and be comfortable, which is great. And a good suspension setup just corrects a lot of where these trucks go wrong when it comes to the stock setup. The stock setup is just so top heavy, it likes to have a lot of body roll, and you know, having a slightly upgraded setup is going to make things a lot better, and it's going to show, again, a sign of enthusiasts. Only enthusiasts would modify car suspension, whether it be like I did, the 5% of people out there that have these that lower them, or you know, the other 95% that lift them. And it comes to modifying suspension, at least. I mean, a lot of owners don't, like I said, are more just trying to make the trucks more quality of life improvements, and you know, then just drive them until the wheels fall off, which is always fine. It's always nice to have like something like that. But I think that's everything I wanted to talk about. Let me know in the comments what you guys think is a good mod to go with for a sport track that would either A, improve quality of life, or B, for an enthusiast, people who want to modify their trucks and get a lot more fun out of them. But yeah, I think I'm going to wrap things up here. If you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe for more content on my sport track coming soon, my full bolt-ons lowered truck. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one, everyone.